This is Kitzur Yomi as we continue learning Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. We are up to Siman Tes Vav, a new Siman over here. And as the title points out, these are the halachas of Kaddish and Baruch Hu. These are the halachas of being starif Minyan, what happens if someone leaves a Minyan, Shliach Tzibur, etc. Says the Kitzur, Achar Yishtabach, after Yishtabach, Omer Shliach Tzibur Chatzi Kaddish. So after Yishtabach, Shliach Tzibur says Chatzi Kaddish. Ein Oimrim Kaddish Baruch Hu Kedusha. Kaddish Baruch Hu Kedusha are not said. Ve'ein Kayim B'Torah Elo Asar Nashim Gedalim. Of course, we know that you're only able to say Dvarim Shebikdusha, Kaddish Baruch Hu Kedusha, if you have 10 people. If you don't have 10, Yishtabach but a 10th comes later. Kaddish. Kaddish is the bookend of Psukei Zimra, and therefore, if the minyan is there at the end of Psukei Zimra, you're going to say Kaddish. If not, you're not going to say Kaddish afterwards. You know, Kaddish alacher davar shenemer ba'asara, only after something that you say ba'asara. So if you had a minyan by Yishtabach, then you'll say the Kaddish afterwards. And therefore, we wait. So says the Kitzur, a simple Eitzah. Says the Kitzur, a simple Eitzah. Should wait before saying Yishtabach at Sheva Asara until the minyan comes. Now, note 5 points out very importantly that, of course, the whole minyan shouldn't wait, because we know that Yishtabach is the bookend to Psukei Zimra. So when you finish Psukei Zimra, of course, you should be saying Yishtabach. But the Chazin, he could wait before he says Yishtabach so that it could go straight Yishtabach into Kaddish. You could wait up to half hour. But more than a half hour, says the Kitzur, one should not wait. Elo, Yomer Yishtabach v'yamtinu, say Yishtabach and wait. Say some Sukkim, and then V'achrei Mamar Sheikh Sibur Kaddish, Chatzi Kaddish, and afterwards say Chatzi Kaddish. You have a half hour for Yishtabach, but Kaddish again is only if there are some Sukkim. So if you had to wait more than that half hour, you say if you Sukkim on Psukei Zimra, and then you say Kaddish. Continues the Kitzur in Sif Beis. What does it mean? 10 Gedalim. Gedal Hainu Shavar Shalosh Etzei Shana. 13 years. V'nichnas l'shnas. And he's in his 14th year. The Kitzur points out that really there's two details to make someone a gadol. Number one, he has to be 13 years old. Number two, he has to have shtei cyrus. He has to have 2 pubic hairs. So the Kitzur is pointing out, even when he's 13, how can we assume that he has Simanim? The reason is, as no 8 points out, is because we assume for all things they're abanan, that there's a chazaka that once a boy is 13, he has shtei seres. Kigayin, Shnel Rosh Chodesh Nisan, Ein Nas Gadol Rosh Chodesh Nisan, Dainu B'Tchilas Halayla Shel Chodesh Nisan, at the beginning of the night, La'achar Shalosh Etzei Shana, after 13 years. And note number 9 over here points out, doesn't go by the time he was born, but rather the calendar day. And now the Kitzur points out a very relevant halacha. We had this last year, whenever you have a leap year. Says the Kitzur, Mishal v'chodesh had you born in Adar, Gshaisa Shana Pshuta, regular year, 12 months. Shenasa Gadol Shana Mubares, and on the 13th year, it's a leap year. So what date is he a Gadol? Says the Kitzur, Eina Nasa Gadol Ad Adar Sheni. He's not a Gadol till the second Adar. Aval, and Nodib Shal Mubares Adar Rishon. Let's say he's born in a leap year during the first Adar, then Nasa Gadol Gamkin Ba'adar Rishon. If the year he was born was a leap year, Kshenasa Gadol Ushanim Shuta, the opposite. Bein Shanal Adar Rishon, Bein Shanal Adar Sheni, Nasa Gadol B'Yom Zeh Ba'adar Shalata goes now when it's non-leap year, the Adar that it is. V'nimsa. Kilapam times Na'ar Shenol Kodim L'Chaverei. Could have a boy that's born before his friend. Yitacher Yoisel Yos Gadol, he'll be a Gadol later on. Mechaver Shalachra from a Chavera, from his friend that's born after him. Kigayin Shenel B'Shanim Uberez Zebachav Tal Risham Zebachav Zebi Yod Ladar Sheni. So really, the kid who's born in Chav Adar Rishon, he's a good almost 20 days older. And yet, on the year of their bar mitzvah, if it's not a leap year, Vashana Shasher Nasim Gedalim, Hishana Pshuta, then the boy who was born on the 10th, he becomes a gadol first, a fascinating entity. Says the Kitzur Siv Gimel Srich Lizar, we have to be careful. We don't count people. We need to know if there's a minyan. Why? You're not allowed to count the heads of Yidden. Even for a mitzvah, Shaul heard, he gathered the people, he counted them through their sheep, their lambs. How do you count people? Bamir Sapasik, Shia es Amecha, Uvarich es Dachlasecha, Urev Nasim ad Oilam, 10 words. Sheish by Asar Tevais. Some count also with the Brach of Amoitzechem and Aretz, also has 10 words. So we continue with Siftal Shechet Sheikh Kol Asar Makam Echad. Says the Kitzur, and this was a very relevant halacha during COVID, when people were all in different places, and all the shailas are being mitzvah for the minyan. Says the Kitzur, how do you have a minyan? Everyone has to be b'makom echad v'ashech simrei mayim. Some are in one room, some are in another room. In a mitzvah, and they don't combine to form a minyan. Even if there's an opening between them, I feel them right. Basic knesses, the majority in one room. Maybe some are in the hallway. They're not go after the roiv to be part of the minyan. Even on the threshold, from the jam of the doorway and outside, this area would be on the outside. Even though right now it's open, we call makom nidin kilachotz. It has the din of the outside. Says the Kitzur, this is all for a minyan of 10. Let's just take a moment. We have a picture over here that points out what's going on. That you see this bottom box here, this is the doorstop. The Makam Adel closes over here. So it's showing us that if you're outside that doorstop, it's not going to be part of the minyan even when the door is open. It says the Kitzur, let's say you already have 10. Anyone who hears them is able to answer Amein, even if he is standing outside. If you look in the many houses between them, so once you have a minyan, then everyone is able to answer even from outside the minyan. But to have a minyan, the Kitzur Paskin has to be all in one place. We will mention that there are complicated halachas, as we mentioned by COVID. This is very relevant. Certainly, we know there were people that were makel, different people in different places. Maybe that was a b'diavad, etc. We don't have time to go into that right now. But one thing for sure, Paskins, the Kitzur, should all be in one place. You should be very careful. Kaddish kavana. An answer b'kavana mikolshkin, and certainly minishmi rabba. You have to have a lot of kavana that Hashem's name should be great, and His malchus should come quickly in our days. With all might in his concentration. And note 21 points out that these are two pshatim and kol kaychai, concentration or in a loud voice. Even for 70 years. You should answer aloud, because it breaks all the heavenly prosecutors. It ruins all exeris, it's not crazy loud. You don't want to scream. People are going to make fun of you if you're going to have a chait. The kids are basking to say Amein yesh mirabam varach le'elam me'almaya yisparach. In note 23 it points out that there are different minhagim. Some don't say yisparach. Amein. Then after you listen to the Sheikh Sibar, and then Amein when he says yisparach. And we continue for a moment. One more halacha sivav yeshaimrim. There are some who say Kaddish, you don't have to stand up for Kaddish. Kaddish, it's also b'amida. For any Kaddish that you're caught while you're standing, it was part of davening when you're standing. Kigoyin, acher halal, you were standing prior. Then you're not allowed to sit down. And some say no. Shislam Tam like Kaddish, every Kaddish should stand up. The Shadavar Shekdusha, Yishalom be called the Chayim Eglain, Melech Mayav, the Chsevit says by Eglan Ve'ed Ba Love, Eyud came here, Eyud Dvar Lakim Li Elechav Yakam El Kisei, and the king stood up from his Kisei Kavod. Umay Eglan Melech Mayad Akam, if he was a guy, come to Dvar Hashem, Kol Shkin and Achliima, Chen Yish Lachmir. So the Kitzur says it's a machlekes. So number one, everyone agrees. If there's ever a point of davening, you're standing, you're not allowed to sit down for Kaddish. That's conclusive. Kitzur says, the right thing is to be machmir and to stand always for Kaddish. As we learn out from Eglon, if the king stood up and he was a guy, certainly we should stand up for the Dvar Hashem. Pick it up from here, B'siyata Dishmai.